and welcome back to Desert DIY. If you are new here, my name is Cory. Today I have 3 projects for you and 2 sneak peeks of future projects coming up soon. These projects that I'm doing today are all for the same person, and their style of choice is Cottagecore. If you haven't heard of Cottagecore before, it is kind of like shabby chic, but adding other styles into it, and every person kind of sees it in a different way. So it could be like full of vintage china, or it can be like very gardeny, or it can be really like British cottage style. You know, there's a lot of different ways to interpret cottagecore. So now that you've seen how dirty this thing is, I'm going to show you how it broke. I had this thing sitting outside. There was no rain in the forecast, but there was tons of wind, and the wind blew open the door and broke it off, and it was made of foam on the inside. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this glue here. This is like the same thing as JB Weld. It's a 2-part epoxy glue, and it kind of expands and fills in and gets super duper hard when it is hardened. And I really like this glue for spots where you're going to need to depend on that glue being really strong. Kind of like right here where there is a hinge, and that's going to be supporting weight. So we ended up putting it into the crack of this part here that was cracked, and then for the other piece that completely broke off, we just filled it up with tons of this glue, and then we clamped it down, and we waited actually an entire day before we messed with it again. It is called a 5-minute epoxy, but I just like to give glue a long time to cure when it's structural like this. But since it does harden in 5 minutes, we decided to hurry up and use it on another project really quick, and I'll show you that in a minute. When you're using JB Weld like this, it is a 2-part mixture, and once you open it up and start using it, it will start hardening, and you have about 5 minutes before the applicator kind of becomes useless because it hardens in there. And so I already knew that. I didn't want to waste the rest of it that was in there that I wasn't going to be using for this door. So what we did is we just ran into the garage and found a chair that was rickety and needed to be re-glued back together. We literally broke this chair down into pieces in like less than a minute. We're like rushing against the clock to make sure we can use all this JB Weld. Now that the glue is all hardened and cured, I'm going to just screw the door back on, but little did I know that stress from putting the screw in ends up breaking it again. So like I showed you in the beginning of this video, these doors are actually made of foam. I have never seen this before. They look like wood, they're heavy like wood, but they're made of foam. But look at this. I'm sorry, my big old head is in the way. But that piece just fell right off when I screwed that middle screw in. So I had to go take that screw out and then glue it back on. And the glue I'm using is Star Bond. I spray on that spray, which makes the glue dry instantly. I'll link that down below in the description box so you guys can check out this glue if you like it. I've been using it for a really long time. And I think I also have a discount code. So if I do, I will put that on there for you guys as well. Now it's time for my least favorite part of every furniture flip. It's time to clean it. I clean enough already in my house. I hate doing the cleaning part of the furniture flips. But I'm just using a pressurized sprayer with some soapy water and then this brush drill set that I got off of Amazon. It comes with a bunch of different heads on it, and if you want to check it out, I have it linked in my Amazon store for you. But it just kind of makes quick work of these jobs that would take forever, and I hate this part of the project, like I said, so if anything I can do to make it faster, I will do it, and this does a great job. You just have to make sure you go back and wipe up all the dirty stuff that you lifted off, which is what you see me doing now. But other than that, it's so much faster and easier on the hands, no scrubbing. This piece was really yucky. For the paint color on this piece, she told me that she wanted either a light blue or a light pink, and I had a light pink, but it just wasn't the right kind of light pink. And I got it from the Oops section. It was on clearance, and then I had this leftover teal colored chalk paint. So I'm going to mix those together. They're both kind of a little old and chunky, but that doesn't mean you can't use them. I ended up adding about 1 or 2 tablespoons of super hot water to get all those chunks out of the paint. As long as they are water-based paints, you can do this. And you can also add chalk paint to paints, as long as they're both water-based, no oil-based. No oil-based. But the pink in the pinkish color, see, don't worry about that chunk. It'll go away because it's water-based. But anyways, the pink has red in it, and red cancels out green. So the green in the teal gets canceled out by the red in the pink, and it turns into kind of like a sky blue or like a robin's egg blue. And here it is on the piece. You can get a better idea of what I'm talking about right here. And when I got it on the piece, it looks completely different. It goes from like a frumpy, really busy looking pattern to something very like neutral, I guess, calming, relaxing, cottagecore. And if you can't tell, I am painting this piece upside down. If you are new to my channel, I start almost every single one of my projects, the painting portion, upside down, because then you don't miss any spots and you don't have to worry about trying to get the paint on the bottom of your furniture while it's on the floor and maybe dirt could fly up, or you never know. It's just better to do it upside down. And I've had many of my viewers say that once they tried this, they never went back, so I think you'll have the same experience. To help disguise any of the imperfections and to also keep in with this theme of cottagecore, I'm going to do a whitewash on it and kind of make it look a little bit like linen. At least that's the look I was inspired to go for. And the whitewashing that I'm using is just a liming wax. I have that also linked in my Amazon store down below. And it is the best. I absolutely love this liming wax. I've tried other liming waxes that were not as like luscious and creamy as this one. This one is amazing. So much fun to use, and you will love it. Here's how it looks now that that is all finished. And now I'm going to go back and fix any of the overspray that I got on the doors and drawers. Just gonna sand them, get them nice and smooth, and then I'm gonna actually add some pop of gold in this area. I'm going to use the heavy metal gilding gold that's by Wise Owl, and the Hensons. If you guys know who the Hensons are on YouTube, they sent me this as a present, and I finally found a way to use it, and I'm so thankful for them for sending me a gift. They're very special people. I'll link their channel down below just so you guys can know who I'm talking about. So I went out to run a few errands, and when I came back, I had a special delivery waiting for me outside my house. And my friend Melanie, that I've talked about a few times on my channel before, she is somebody who is like so into antiques just like I am and loves thrifting and flipping furniture. And when she finds really cheap pieces at Goodwill, she'll pick them up for me and then drop them off like a magic Christmas present. And this was one of those pieces. She got this solid pine little side table, and it's perfect timing because I've had a lot of requests for side tables for helping out those former foster children. And this little sticker set I got on clearance at Walmart, and I thought it would add a lot of whimsy to this project. I just found it last minute. I thought I was done, but I wasn't done. And I just put them on and experimented, and I've never really done any of these kind of things before, so I was just having fun with it, and it turned out pretty cute, I think. Now we are going to be moving on to the second piece, which is a Goodwill find. It was a brass lamp. Nothing against brass. Brass is actually kind of coming back in style, but this one was not going to match with the cottagecore style on the brass half of the lamp. The shade, on the other hand, totally gorgeous and would work perfectly for this style. So I kept the shade as it was, and then I did this cool faux texture technique that you're going to see right now. I just used some Mod Podge and some wrapping tissue paper. It doesn't matter what color. This Mod Podge was actually kind of icky and really thick, but it worked for this application. And I just smoothed on the tissue paper with the Mod Podge and let it dry for a few days before I went ahead and painted it to match the dresser. My third project today is going to be something that I think anybody could do in about 5 minutes, and that's why I love doing these kind of makeovers. I'm starting off with this beautifully framed piece of art. It is not exactly the style I'm going for. It is a little too bright and colorful for my muted scheme, so I'm going to go over it with some scrap fabric that I used for a previous project, and that will help preserve that painting inside there, so if somebody ever wants it to come back out again, it's very easy to do so. I'm going to add some of these extra decor pieces to the pile here for her because I had these laying around my house and don't use them, and I figured that she would appreciate them a lot more than I currently do. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw today, don't forget to hit subscribe down below, and I will see you next time. Bye!